Hey, Shalom. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. Okay, honestly, brothers will be pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And all praises unto Yahweh Shemi Al Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. So I was in my little apartment here today thinking upon, a particular scripture, okay, that which is written within the book of Ecclesiasticus, the 9th chapter and the 11th verse, with regards to these women. Okay, pretty much, you got a few brothers out there that they're in decent situations, and then you got other brothers, myself included, where you are in questionable situations, man. Right, with regards to these women, these whores, okay, these slags. And sometimes you might actually meet an actual woman, which, that's a few and far between, okay? But then that goes, that really led me to thinking, well, if most sides got it to where all of these prophecies about man becoming 1,000, okay, and basically breeding the hell out of a lot of women, okay, then it stands to reason that the time and opportunity for these things isn't right, okay? So you might have a handful of individuals out here that got their mind in the gutter, so to speak, and let's just be honest about it. We're all men. Your mind's gonna be in the gutter, all right? Really, most of the time, okay? But you're supposed to be spiritual and balanced about how you navigate through that particular inkling, and really, this is the point of this video. Because as you're going to see from this video, not only are you going to have it to where the Most High is going to have you have just multitude fields of resources and wealth and cattle, and goat, whatever. You got these Arabs right now balling like there's no tomorrow. Well, guess what? We're going to be the ones that they're talking about Arab money, man. It's going to be that Israelite money. And you're going to have it to where these other nations, they're going to be trying to emulate how we navigate through our finances and resources. But another resource, yes, and I said resource, another resource that we're going to have to our disposal, right, is them women. Because there's one thing that you could do with a woman that you can't do with any other resource. And that's repopulate the whole entirety of the whole earth, okay, breed, okay. But the time and opportunity for you meeting the ones that the Most High is going to bring about, which ain't going to be the ones that you're going to be meeting these days, man. For the most part, you're going to be meeting straight up demons, because the time and opportunity that is going to be brought about right now is for time for you to catch up. Okay, when you go to the book of, is it the book of Hebrews, or is it the book of Romans, the 12th or 14th chapter, it talks about chastening. You go to the book of Ecclesiasticus, the 2nd chapter, it says, look, my son, if you come to the, to serve the Most High, prepare your heart for temptation. And one of the first thing that goes is having any kind of decent woman. You can just forget about that, because that one turn into a straight up demon. Why? Because now she's got competition. And as far as this world is concerned, you're supposed to be absorbed into that woman, man. Okay, but see, here's what's beautiful, and here's what I'm going to try to elaborate on as I go through this video. You got a lot of these so-called quote unquote, and I say quote unquote loosely, but pretty decent women out there. You got a hell of a lot of them walking around, okay, with a single, okay, all right, because they've got what's known as standards that are too high. Okay, their standards is all messed up, because, well, guess what? They're drinking that Babylon juice. But you're going to see within the scripture says that what? That people shall be willing in the day of that power. So you got it to where now they want an educated man with this car and this, that, and the third. And as you can see this particular article, look, I don't delve too much into this social crap. Don't take this video in the wrong way. This is just to make a point. But pretty much what you see out there, they're saying that there's a man shortage. And why is there a man shortage? Because Esau has fed these women, especially these women, BS, man. Okay, he's fed them a standard ain't no real man gonna be out there trying to really do what these women are trying to do. That means he ain't real man. But see, when the Most High raises the 12 tribes of Israel out, in order to fulfill prophecy, you're gonna have to have me. And a lot of these women, I met them. There's women out there that are in their late 20s and they're single and they're virgins, man. I've met them. Okay, I've met him. Okay, and that's a beautiful thing that the Most High allowed me to see that, because now I could really come out and say, look, boom, that's what the Most High's got it out there. Okay, you got a lot of women out there. They're in false religions. Okay, they believe that they believe in Islam, and they're straight up Christians and so on and so forth. So they're basically untouched. I say basically because we're still in Babylon, but these bitches are basically untouched. Okay. All right, the vagina has never had no penis inside of it, so you can understand if I'm going to be vulgar. And guess what? The Most High's got them in them bugged out ideas. So when the 12 tribes of Israel, the house of David is raised up, you're going to have some half decent meat to work with. And I say half decent because we are in Babylon, man. Okay, that trueness, that purity, that's really going to be a thing of the kingdom. But guess what? The Most High is always going to have a remnant of goodies to give unto his men. Okay, so this is the book of Ecclesiastes, the 9th chapter and the 11th verse. It says, and I returned, and I saw under the sun that race is not for the swift, nor the battle to the strong, neither yet bread to the wise, okay, nor yet riches to the understanding, nor yet favor to men of skill, but time and chance happeneth to all men. Now this scripture really, and this is where the Most High is really opening my mind out a little bit, because we really have to apply balance. Okay, when you're understanding the scriptures, you have to apply balance, man. Okay, so when you read the scripture, you're thinking, oh, tomorrow, yeah, maybe that's my chance, or that's gonna be my time, or whatever. But you have to apply balance. Really, what's gonna happen now is you're gonna catch out. But also to flip it to their side, which is the balance of it. A lot of these women, they're walking into basically psychopaths, man. As far as they're concerned, they ain't never met a real man in the entirety of their real life. Okay? But see, they ain't gonna meet you, so time and chance applies to them. And when they see the real men raised up, the men at Great Millstone, and the men that teach the same doctrine that the Lord is teaching, and when they see that, well, guess what? The scripture says what the scripture says. Thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power. And that goes far beyond just women, but this video is dealing with that aspect of that resource that I call women. And it is a resource, okay? It is a resource. When you go out there and you watch movies like Mad Max, okay, Fury Road, okay, let me see if I can find it. Mad Max. Okay, Mad Max, right, Fury Road, okay? And if I put the wives there, okay, you brothers that watch the film, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because this is really how the Most High is going to have it. And that goes into another point which I'm going to touch on within the book of Isaiah, Isaiah the 13th chapter. Okay, so let's go to this. So you go into Mad Max and you see the wives. I don't want to spoil the movie if you haven't seen the movie, but pretty much this was all one dude's breeding pot. Okay, because this is like a post-apocalyptic film. Okay, and he said all of these women, basically, they were without blemish. Okay, and what I was showing you here is that you're going to have certain women out there. I've met them. Okay, you're going to have certain women out there. They're up in age or they're young or whatever. And they ain't never been touched with them. I mean, after she met me, she was touched. But that's a different story for a different day. But pretty much, you're going to have a lot of women out there that are into Islam, into Christianity, okay, or their standards is been obscured because guess what? This world is mad, okay, and that's going to be a lot of women, okay, notwithstanding, you're also going to have to where a lot of these so-called women that are, for all intents and purposes, ain't whores because they got married off or something like that. Well, the scripture says that their wives are going to be ravished. Why? Because a lot of these dudes are undercover homosexuals. They're blaspheming against the men of the Lord. And when you read about the story about King David and how the Messiah slayed that wicked dude, well, guess what? King David took that woman and the man's resources, man. Okay? He took that man and his resources, man. Okay, so that's going to be happening a lot when the Messiah takes out this kingdom. So really, you got to get your mind out the gut, man. You got to get your mind into the kingdom mode. And really, this movie is a good example of that because this is a post-apocalyptic film. And what happened within the situation is that this dude, okay, you see the dude was basically a monster, man. He looked like a monster because of the nuclear radiation and all of that. Okay, but he was the king of that particular region. Okay, not trying to give too much away if you haven't watched the movie already. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's a damn good film. Okay, real good, real effects. Okay, the effects is off the chain and all of that is a damn good spectacle. Okay, but these were all of his so-called untouched wives, man, and he popped them women like they were resources, man. Okay, he breeded with them, and when they came and took his women, okay, that's what he went out there for. And one of the other bosses, one of the other kings was like, all of this war. Okay, pretty much all of this war for I want to say 5 virgins, but pretty much unblemished children. He says all of this war for these girls, and I think his response was like, "Look, you gonna get good children out of that. Now for us, we gonna get children, so they're gonna be good anyway. They're gonna be Israelites." Okay, so the same thing is gonna apply. So let's go to the scripture right here in the book of Isaiah, the 13th chapter, and this is gonna be within the and if you get offended that I said women are resources, then you're too much in Babylon, man. You're too far gone, man. You need to reevaluate the decisions that you've made in your life to get you to the point where you think women are not a resource. Yeah, you could love a resource. You could love a woman. The scripture talks about how different men, ancient men, love their women, this, that, and the third. But beyond that, it's just a resource. It's replaceable just like anything else. That's why the scripture, when you really read this scripture, what does it say? It says a man shall be as right here, 12th verse. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even the golden wedge of Ophir. So the man is going to be made precious. But really, when you understand what the scripture is saying there, then what you understand is that gold is precious for its rarity and its purity. So men are going to be made pure and rare. And that's what's going to happen in the post-apocalyptic world. That's why you had resource like this within this movie. Because you have few men left. Because, wait, guess what? When war pops off, who's going to be out there battling? The man's going to be battling. The scripture talks about within the book of Joel, the 3rd chapter, how that the Most High was going to pour out the Spirit upon the Euphrates. And all of them men are going to get joined up into that. And what they're going to do, they're going to eliminate each other. Notwithstanding the Lord, when he comes back, he's going to eliminate a lot of these dudes. Apply the story of King David to it and that wicked dude. Well, all of these niggas is wicked, man. Jake, okay? All of them dudes is wicked. Now, I ain't going to say, look at a man's woman because he's wicked and that could be yours. That's going off. Okay, that's backdoor covetousness. But do know this, what the scripture says is their wives is going to be ravished. Now, in order for that not to be adultery, guess what? A lot of dudes is going to be getting put to death on account of being wicked. So you're all better off just being in this truth, man, irregardless of whether your woman sticks with you or not sticks with you. Because you're going to get all of that back and then some. Okay, for this scripture to be fulfilled, which I'm going to get within the book of Isaiah, the 60th chapter, for you to become 1,000, to become a nation. Well, last time I checked, one woman pops up one kid every 9 months. Okay, apply some recovery time to that. You're looking at 1 kid a year, and then her ovary is going to shut down in a couple of years after that. So your share out of luck, you might get good 10 out of them, but after that, look, that's going to be unusable. So really, what you're going to be thinking is, okay, how's the Lord going to do that? He's going to have it to where a lot of these dudes are going to be killed off because they were wicked. Okay, a lot of these women are gonna be killed up because they're wicked. But see, they're a resource. It's like killing cows. It's pointless. All right, unless they're GMO. Of which, hey, you got GMO. You got GMO bitches out here now. Okay, you got them transgender bitches now. They're GMO. Okay, untouchable. Okay, that's poison within the earth. The Most High is gonna have to eliminate that. Okay, it's gonna eliminate that. Not have to. He's gonna eliminate that. Okay, so let's read this. It says, "And I'll punish the world for their evil." How's the Lord gonna punish the world for their evil? By death. Okay, and the wicked for their iniquity, and cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and lay the haughtiness of the terrible. Okay, I'll make a man more precious than fine gold, even the golden wedge of Ophir. I'll shake the heavens, and the earth shall move out of her place, and the wrath of the Lord of hosts. Right, and in that day, okay. So now let's go to the 16th verse. It says, "Their children also shall be dashed to pieces." So, hey, when you got it to where you got them heathen kids out there, okay, hey, you're gonna have to put them to death. Those are the rules. And you got these Christians talking about these Christians talking about they know the scriptures. Well, the Lord's gonna have it to where a lot of children are gonna be put down. Okay, because the scripture says that when you conquer a particular nation, you're supposed to put those children down. Now, I ain't got that kind of spirit on me now, man. But guess what? when the Lord puts the order out, is you or their heads, what do you think the Lord's going to have his men do? Okay? The man of the Lord is going to be they're going to be doing what the scripture says, man. It says their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled and their wives ravished, man. Okay? You going to, jeez. This ain't for the faint-hearted. Okay? And 18th verse elaborates on that point. I was saying, their bows also shall, and this to come out the Medes, which is the Russians, their bows also shall dung the young men to pieces, and their eyes shall have no pity for the fruit of the womb, and their eyes shall not spare children. Okay, so if you're really on a kingdom-minded type mentality, all of that's going to make sense. All of that's going to make sense because you've watched movies when that's been done. When you're watching Game of Thrones, you got these people getting so emotional, but they will sit back and watch Game of Thrones and they will see everything I'm talking about being played out, play for play, as I've read the scriptures, precept for precept, and they'll have no problem with it. But the minute you apply that to real times and say that's actually from the Bible, people got a problem with it. Why? Because these people ain't about the Bible, man. Okay, they ain't about the scriptures. But going back onto this point I was making, in order for the Lord to apply these things to come into flourishing, well, guess what? It stands to reason that these women haven't had the opportunity to meet the men of the Lord, and that opportunity is going to come when the Lord raises the men of the Lord up, and it's time for you to enjoy those goodies. Right now, it's time for daily bread in hell. Okay, daily bread in hell, and sometimes that might mean a piece of ass. Sometimes not. Okay. So, especially when you're living in Babylon, like I said, a lot of these women, they just got ridiculous standards, and because we ain't in our power, you can't put these bitches into order. But that's why the scripture says what it says within Psalm: "Thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power." So when that power is manifested, hell, you might have dealt with a certain chick in the past. All right, you apply the same situation if you had the power the Most High was going to give you. Well, guess what? That's going to be put into perspective. And that demon ain't even going to jump on that hole, man. Okay? So let's go to the scripture here. Isaiah 60 and 22. It says, a little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. I, the Lord, will hasten it in his time. Okay? So, hey, that's pretty much self-explanatory. But the point I was making here is, how are you going to become 1,000 with just one woman, man? That's impossible, man. That ain't going to happen. Okay? It's going to take a long time. Okay? But see, when the Most High has got it to where you got all of the, I'll be honest, there's a lot of lonely women out there. It just makes sense. If you ain't bumping into, if you're bumping into, basically daily bread ass, that's what I'm going to call it, it's stuff you wouldn't rather mention on record. If that's what you're bumping into, well, it stands to reason the same thing is happening on the other side. You got a whole bunch of bitches out there, fine as hell, untouched, okay? Pretty much untouched. Okay, and they just ain't meeting, the right individuals. Okay, because what? Because the Most High has reserved it for the time where Jacob is going to be raised up out of the earth. Okay, he's going to be raised up and made into the glory of the earth, the salt of the earth. And in that time, that's when those resources is going to be available. That time and the opportunity is going to manifest itself. And guess what? You're going to have to worry about no goddamn adultery, man. Okay, so that's that scripture read with. Let's finish off here within the book of Isaiah, the 4th chapter and the 1st verse. And it says, and in that day 7 women shall take hold of thy hand of one man, saying, we'll eat our own bread, we'll wear our own apparel, only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. Okay, and that's self-explanatory as well too, man. Okay, 7 women is basically a number of completion. So it might be 7 for one brother, maybe 700 for another brother. We read about the scriptures about King David and King Solomon. They had a hell of women, man. And that was like an omen for what's going to happen out there within the future now. Where you're just going to be like, women are just going to be, women are going to return to the position that the Most High created them to be in, man. Subordinate. Because they're going to be in abundance. See, it's all crazy, great. Oh, it's fantastic now. Okay, living in this hell, okay, and you got to think about the decision one bitch made, and apparently that's just fucked your whole life over. But really, when you go into the kingdom and you got multitudes of them, well, guess what? That's not going to happen because you got multitudes of them, and it ain't going to even affect you like that. Okay, so, anyways, that's all like pretty much mostly like worldly things and trying to navigate it through the scripture. So I apologize if it's a bit, if it's just a bit too abased. Okay, we'll return back onto regular programming soon enough. Okay, all right. So with that, I'm gonna say, "Oh, praise unto Yahweh Bashim Yahshai, birthday." I mean, hopefully the point was made. The point was like, look, get your mind out the gutter. Okay, you ain't gonna be. The Most High is gonna provide you with good sustenance when His kingdom comes. Okay, good sustenance. You don't get daily bread out here. You're just gonna get daily bread. You can't make too much out of daily bread. Granted, you're gonna have some situations that are better than others, but it's mostly gonna be daily bread. Every man's needs is different to the next. Okay, but when the Most High does raise His men up and power is magnified within those men, you're gonna have a lot of these women coming out of the woodworks all of a sudden, and you're gonna find out there's a lot of them, they're virgins, and a lot of them are barely touched. And I say barely touched because we're in Babylon out here. There's some women out here that slept with like 50 dudes. Ain't nobody wanna be waking up in the kingdom to that. But then the scripture says here's the flip side to that. Apply and balance. Scripture says a lot of those women that have been touched 50 odd times by 50 odd different dudes, a lot of them women are gonna make it on the chariots before the other ones. Okay, because you also got some other women out there that'll try to drag you out the truth. And she might be a virgin. It says, hey, you gotta apply balance, man. You gotta apply balance, man. Okay, so I mean, hopefully that made you think at the very least about some things. Okay, hopefully I got to some conclusions that are of use. Okay, oh praise unto Yahweh Bashim Yahshai. Double honesty, apostles, a great millstone. Honest to you, brothers, that be pushing this truth in sincerity. Shalom.